When I was a kid, a lot of this is about, a lot of my work is about being a young Scouse effeminate child. Right. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I was into comic books, really into comic books, really into superhero comic books. But I was particularly into those really nasty, weirdy, scary comic books that you got. American, they were really American. They really had really brutal, violent things, horrific things in them, mystery, horror things. And I remember particularly in one magazine, there was this kind of like disemboweled, ripped woman on one page. And on the other page, there was like this kind of blueberry cupcake. It was called Twinkie. Right. And I remember thinking, oh, what? Two images, that's interesting. And really, this is true. And I closed the page and thought, what an interesting melange of images. And that stayed with me for the rest of my life, and I think it's informed this poem. Those cupcake Twinkies were always there when someone was being absolutely horrifically disemboweled. I think that says a lot about the man's mind. Cupcakes and rape. Anyway, I've said too much. And I haven't even started yet. Right? This is about that, and it's called The Killer Pumpkin. Out the mist, tumbling a stagger that would impress Karloff. The killer pumpkin dressed in zombie and tradition, universals and Americans from the grubby back pages of Weird Tales. He's dressed in ink, lightning and fingerprints, tangible ink, ink that lives under your bed, ink you can smell, tacky as a sock of spunk, strobe lit and flash. Comics are not yet computerized, still immune to progress, are terrified of communism and smell of the 50s. A bag of laughs, cackles, fake blood drips, Charles Alice and his dynamic tension muscles in, instant monkeys swim in x-ray specs, see the skeleton of your hand. The Killer Pumpkin, a compelling center for kids, too bullied to love being kids. The killer pumpkin hovers over the girl, blood dribbling from carved lips, fingersticks claw 1 inch below her breast, withering breath caressing her cheek. Screams in big white capitals that spiral from her mouth and fly off the page. Fingersticks clutch her throat. It's only ever nearly rape. But it's always blue murder. Revenge and rage. The Killer Pumpkin's unaware he's a drawing. An animate with a relish of post-pubescence. He's just a soulless plunderer waiting for another hapless victim or a Twinkies endorsement. Twinkie. The Killer Pumpkins magazine is a little shop of horrors and a Twinkies delicatessen. The Killer Pumpkin will one day be king of death, nearly rape, cupcakes, and morbid obesity in adolescence. The Killer Pumpkin kicks at the mist in the cemetery of Fox 20th century, makes the shapes of Lugosi and Cheney, Dracula and the Wolfman, blows them into the full moon. You've seen their faces, carvings from the unhallowed breeze of dark arts and imagination. The Killer Pumpkin will encourage kids to devour television. The Killer Pumpkin retreats to his lair. He's killed enough dames to avenge his brutal murder. Resides in the tomb of Erasmus de Knight, a forgotten poet with too much Byron and fervour, whose name has been eroded from his headstone by lashing rains and indifference. They grieve and wail, moans and groan. The Killer Pumpkin kisses Erasmus's skull and cuddles the last bit of brittle from what is left of his crumbling